Ladies and gentlemen, Lawrence Kenyon-Slade from Ray White Manukau, joining me with a live weekly market update report for PAPATOETOE, Manukau and surrounding suburbs for Ray White Manukau. So let's jump right into it. Auction results. We sold 4 properties this week, 4 out of 5. So that brings it up to an 80% success rate with our auctions, meeting what the owners needed and getting it sold. Overall, 26 cash bidders missed out this week and are still looking to purchase. We have their contact details. If you'd like us to show them your property and get you sold, get in touch today. But let's jump into some recent sale, the results of what we saw this week. So jumping in, the first property we sold over here on the screen, we got 34 Rogers Road. This was a 3-bedroom brick and tile property, Manurewa, around about 600 square meters. Sold $895,000. Fantastic result, really tidy property. Moving on to the next property we sold this week is 24 Hyperion Drive, Randwick Park. Now, this was quite a big property, 5 bedrooms. I believe it was a bit of a smaller land size. This property sold for $771 at auction this week. Moving on to a really interesting result, 57 Cascades Road, Pakuranga. Now, this property only had one bidder at the day, and they bid $1 million. Our really good auctioneer, Sam Steele, had a chat with them, negotiated them up, eventually got them sold, $1.3 million. Boom. Very happy vendors, got what they needed, and they can move on with their life. Moving on to the next one, 89 Friedlanders Road. Now, this was a bit of a fire property. It got completely burnt out. You can see someone had a big party and then didn't put out the candles. So completely burnt out property. This property, I think they had about 8 or 9 bidders, so quite busy inquiry. And this property sold on the market. It opened up $400K and kept going $600,000. $641,000 to be precise. And this property, look, it's just Manurewa, Friedlanders Road, 600 square meters plus or minus. So pretty good result considering that the house is completely done for. And lastly, this was a really busy property, 79 Beeston Crescent, 14 registered bidders on the day. So a huge amount of people that we have brought on using our systems, marketing techniques, just bringing the buyers through. 14 bidders, 79 Beeston Crescent, Manurewa, 3 bedrooms, pretty average, tidy property, sold $806,000. So overall, pretty good auction results. Now, jumping on to markets trends, what we've seen. So this is a bit of a graph showing the current house pricing and the average trend. So the trend is just the average part of all the house pricing over the long-term trend, basically. And we can see currently, if we zoom into where we are right now, we're still above the long-term trend over New Zealand. So what does this mean? Normally, over the history, we can see we go up and then below the long-term trend. So it's likely ANZ predicting for us to come down maybe a bit more before we go under the long-term trend. So that's what the graph is showing, that we're still heading downwards. But let's look at the positive. We're still 25% above where we were at the start of COVID, which is pretty good. Just looking at some more statistics, the amount of houses on Trade Me in Auckland has gone up 50%, so 53% versus last year, August in Trade Me. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, look, there's more properties on the market. High interest rates means that they would be affecting the pricing moving down the line. What I've also put together is Trade Me has a special partner agreement with Ray White Manukau. Just because we are such a big agency, we get extra data on what happens with locations. So just looking at a snapshot in PAPATOETOE, where do all the buyers come from? Well, firstly, the buyers mainly come from PAPATOETOE, no surprise. 11% of buyers come from PAPATOETOE, 4% come from Flatbush, 4% Manurewa, 3% Mount Wellington, and 2% Mangere. So that's where all the buyers come from. Probably the percentages are quite low because there's a high percentage of investors in PAPATOETOE that likely live all over New Zealand. So that's probably why we don't see PAPATOETOE being higher than maybe a 20 or 30% in comparison to 11%. Looking at the sale method that's most common right now is by negotiation. So 52% of properties are trying to be sold by negotiation, 25% only by auction, and 23% by an asking price. They put a price on it. What we've found with our office is that you have a 76% from last month, July, 76% of our properties were successfully sold through auction, whereas deadline sale, only 20% were sold. So we've seen that auction is definitely the way to go if you want to get a premium price. So yeah, that's something to note about. Auction method is getting the results right now. Looking at the current days on market, the average in PAPATOETOE is 74 days, and that's 90% more than it was from last year. What does this mean? Property is taking longer to sell. That also means pricing. It is affected. If your property is on the market too long, it's like a banana. It gets old, gets dark, gets black, and it probably would be worth less. So it's better to sell it in a short amount of time when the buyers are hot and interested. That's why our auction method, 28 days on market average. So that is getting the results, and we think we're getting the buyers. So if you're looking at selling, we've got the buyers, 26 left over cash bidders from this week alone at auctions. And if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to buy, we've got properties. We signed on, I think, around 80 properties this month looking to sell. So definitely things are moving quickly in the current market. Get in touch if you want to hear more or a specific report for your property. Thank you and have a good week.